Hello, I'm Dorothy Rosen. I'm a goldsmith in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Today I'm going to talk to you about responsibly sourced gold and other precious metals, but mainly gold. So we all make decisions with our purchases. Of course, that relates to everything, where we buy things. And if you follow me on social media and watch my stories, you probably know that I go to the farmer's market, that I, generally try to be environmentally responsible in my own life as much as is feasible. That's even a strange caveat to mention, but we can't always, but we try our best. I often hang my laundry to dry. It's beautifully sunny today, and in fact my glasses are tinted with the sun, so I may switch to my other glasses. I don't want you feeling like I'm behind sunglasses, but so I generally try to live a responsible life, and this extends into my jewelry practice as well, of course. And I don't often talk about it, so I thought I would talk about it today. We do make political decisions with everything we purchase in general. You're probably aware of that. And so it's good to think about these things. As a jeweler, I work with precious metals and precious gems, and so today I'm going to talk about precious metal sources. I've never really out loud mentioned this, but all the gold I've been using ever since I started working with gold is recycled gold. So all my gold is 100% recycled, which sounded great until I started looking deeper into it, and I realized that maybe just recycled gold isn't possibly enough. What else can I do? This whole thing started for me when I was in New York City, and I attended the gold conference there and met Christina Miller and other people who work with responsible mining. And I also I just learned a lot there. I met the producer, and there were a lot of discussions there and presentations, and one of the things that was introduced at that year at the gold conference was the film The Shadow of Gold, which is a very interesting documentary if you can get your hands on it. It's pretty shocking what happens in gold extraction. It's pretty, once you've seen that documentary or another one, you will definitely start asking questions, and as well you should, about where your gold comes from, because there's some horrendous things that happen in gold extraction. There are a number of different ways in which gold is extracted from the earth. It's basically large-scale production or small-scale production. And in the small-scale production, which is mainly what I'm going to talk about today, you have small-scale artisanal miners who go with a pickaxe and hammer out rock that contains gold, and then through various methods extract the gold from the ore. So what happens is people are pretty desperate, and what often happens is people will, even in mines, some miners get to go home with some of the rock, and as part of their payment, and they can then get older people or some people in their community that don't do anything else to just hammer that rock into powder. And then oftentimes mercury is used to extract the gold from the rock and powder, and of course mercury. And this is on a ratio of 1:1. And then you see, if you watch these documentaries, you see the women just squeeze out the mercury and gold in some fabric, and often they use their teeth to make it tighter. Mercury is unbelievably toxic. And not only do these women, these people get exposed to it, so does the environment, because then the whole thing gets fired and mercury gets released into the air. So much pollution. It's really quite terrible. So what can be done? People got together, found that this is irresponsible practice. Yes, don't soup unlimited. Hi. Lots of comments there. That's good. So people got together and wanted to find a way to do this more responsibly. And there are basically nowadays two ways of getting gold that's responsibly sourced. It's either Fairtrade or Fairmined. And really the two are very, very similar. It's just two different organizations with two different names. Fairmined is slightly more, they give their miners more of a premium. But let's first talk about what's better about these companies. And I have to go look at my cheat sheet there because there's so many things. So there's, first of all, organizational development, that there's a guaranteed minimum price. There are additional premiums for the miner and the community of the miner, and there are better trade relationships, and it would be illegal mining operation as opposed to illegal. Then the other thing that happens is, of course, environmental protection. So no toxins, safe methods of mining for the miners. They then wear helmets, for example, if you can believe that. And there is a much lower environmental impact with these small-scale artisanal miners who are actually supported by these organizations, Fairmined and Fairtrade. And of course, then there's also the work conditions. There's huge impact on the condition for the workers. They have their rights organized. They have stable jobs, and their jobs are healthy and safe, as opposed to illegal mining, which if you just start putting that into your YouTube or something, you'll find all kinds of things you rather didn't know. There's also social development. There's no link to any kind of conflict situations, which is really important because, believe me, both diamonds and gold can definitely support conflicts. There's no child labor. There's gender equality, and there is a general support of the community and support of well-being in the community. And what's really interesting about this is it's the traceability. I've been watching a bunch of webinars about this and really learning a lot. And so, somebody could take gold and say it's fairly mined, and maybe it was at the source, and then they mix it with a bunch of not fairly mined gold, you'd think, and then sell it all as fairly mined gold. But this is really cool. I thought it was amazing. The way they prevent this from happening is there is a DNA that is in the gold when it's originally smelted. The small-scale artisanal Fairtrade or Fairmined gold has a compound added to it that if you melt that gold, that compound goes away, dies, can't take the heat. And so this is their way of checking the gold from where it leaves, your small-scale artisanal mining, from the first refining to the supplier, generally in the Western world, of the same gold. They can check, and that traceability is huge. The fact that they can trace that gold is really quite amazing. So for example, I can tell you with complete confidence that this ring, the gold that made this ring, comes from a small-scale artisanal mine in Peru. I know the name of the mine, which is escaping me just at the moment, of course, but I know where this comes from. I know where this comes from. I know the people have been treated well, the environment has been treated well, and I can therefore feel good about this ring, about making it, working with the gold, and about selling it. I really love the fact that that's the case. Now, it's a beautiful ring, and so is if I do say so myself. And so, so are these other ones. These are recycled. This is 100% recycled gold, and that's great. This is a step up. So the reason I wanted to tell you about this today is because I haven't really been talking about it. And I recently joined the organization Ethical Metalsmith, and I'm really just getting a little bit more vocal about yeah, you'll take 3. Sounds great. I actually only have 1, but I do have more gold. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you. This comes with, this has the special label. The other ones don't have this. So this is the leftover, this is what I still have of this certified, fairly traded, traced to the source 18-karat gold. And I really love that I was able to find a supplier. It was really difficult to find a supplier. There are very few suppliers that are authorized to sell this and make it, because the traceability is really quite a piece of work. So I was excited when I found this. I made that connection also at the Gold Conference, and that was actually, I'd made it before, and I bought a little bit, but I didn't quite believe it until I heard all the presentations given at the Gold Conference, and met the people in person, and I really understood, and I saw this documentary. So that really kind of put it all together for me, and I just haven't been really talking about it, so I thought I would. The other thing that I want to just briefly mention about this is that there's actually, again, just like with amethyst the other day, I think that was 2 weeks ago, there is also a Nova Scotia connection here. So Nova Scotia had a gold rush in the 1860s, and there are 64, I believe, mining sites in Nova Scotia, totaling 360 individual gold mines that at some point or other were here in Nova Scotia. And there are gold mines currently also. And the interesting thing about these gold mines is that a lot of the tailing ponds never got cleaned up. So the tailing sands are still there. Let me explain that a little bit. So when gold gets refined from the original, how it comes out of the ground, into pure gold, that then a refinery can make into 18 karat, or a jeweler can use, there are a bunch of either mechanical or chemical processes that make this happen. And in the olden days, it's usually worked with arsenic and mercury. Those are 2 things you do not want to have in your environment. But gold mining puts those compounds into the environment, and it's so bad that actually there's a lot of undocumented and not quite figured out, and even they started wanting to open another mine, and then they said, oh, we can't now because we won't quite allow you yet. But everything is a little like murky, because these are powerful mining organizations. And recently in St. Mary's River in Nova Scotia, a mine was successfully delayed, at least the opening of a new mine, by some activists there, which is great, because we still have on the eastern shore here in Seal Harbor, for example, is a place where you cannot harvest anything from nature because of the old contamination from old gold mines. It's like you cannot fish there, you cannot harvest mushrooms because it's all toxic. So, and that's actually, it takes a lot for the government to actually say that, but that's a little scary, and nobody really talks about it. For me, the gold mine at Mount Polly in BC, the gold mine disaster there, it was in 2014, I believe, where one of these tailing ponds, so basically they use a lot of water in these processes of extracting the gold, and then they just put that water somewhere and let it sit there and wait for the water to evaporate. So they're these big open tailing ponds where hopefully the water will evaporate. Well, they had built their tailing pond on a glacier lake that has stuff going on underneath, and the dam broke, and the whole thing went downriver and destroyed all these indigenous fishing areas, and the salmon, of course, BC, you know. And then the company didn't really, you know, it took a lot to get anybody to actually relate to this, because companies generally end up declaring bankruptcy and then starting up somewhere else. I don't want to get any more political. I just want you to know that you make choices with the things you buy, and you have options. And that's kind of the important message that I wanted to get across today. And that there is such a thing as these beautiful metals that, you know, I mean, I love working with gold. Gold is so beautiful to work. I don't know how to explain this. There is something about, you know, I do a lot of forging, and gold loves to be worked with. It just loves it. Oh, look how the sun's coming out as I say this. It's like, hearing angels sing. I really love working gold, and so I was happy to find a source. At least I'm working with recycled gold, and that is definitely good, and I feel good about the fact that I've been working with recycled gold since I was studying jewelry design and metalsmithing in university, like, you know, what's that, 20 years ago? So, yeah, actually I think it's more than 20 years ago now. Wow, it's a long time. And the other thing, just because I happen to have one here, I just got another certified Canadian diamond in as a GIA cert, Gemological Institute of America, which is kind of the, you know, gold standard, as they say, of certifying Canadian diamonds. I just got this one in. I'm kind of excited, but it's really pretty, but I'm not going to haul it out right now. But I will be putting this into, I'm going to make another of the three loop 1-footers with diamond, because I don't have any right now and people really like them. So that's on my bench for this, literally on my bench for this week, that I'm going to work on that. I hope I have some special pieces to make for some special people too, so I'll also be doing that. But I think I'm going to leave it there for now. If you have any questions, please comment below. And also, if you are interested in these kinds of topics, and also generally what I do and think and feel, then subscribe to my newsletter, because there's lots of, you know, I try to share things that I think matter and are interesting. So yeah, I think I'm going to say goodbye for today. Do let me know if there's something you want me to discuss or talk about. And if you have any further questions, there's one more thing I was going to say, which is stamping. So I am in the process of getting certified for the Fairmined status. That's like a whole audit that people go through. By the way, the mines all have to go through an annual third-party audit to be certified Fairmined every year. And if I end up getting the stamp, this is what a stamp Maker's Mark stamp looks like. This is my DR. I can't see it. And then I pop the rings in here, and the reason it's curved is so that it can reach inside a ring. I'm going to talk about that another time, about metal stamping. But the idea is, you know, you go like this and you put it in there. That way you can hit it with a hammer from the top and it will make the mark. And once I do get my my stamp, then I can stamp this ring with, once I'm registered with them, I can stamp this ring, which is exciting. Because I do have access now to that one source of Fairmined gold. They also have Eco Fairmined, which is even better, and then they have different they have gold from small scale artisanal mines, specifically from the Congo, which is otherwise a horrible place for gold. So it's really wonderful to be involved with these suppliers and organizations that support these initiatives, and I'm very proud and happy to be part of that. So I'll say goodbye, and I will talk to you next week. I'm not sure what. I'm trying to get one of my brothers on to talk about our childhood and growing up with kind of a lot of art and craft all around, but I'm not sure I'll be able to, so we'll see. Thanks all. You have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.